What if I told you, within the next 2 to 3 years, countries won't be racing to buy gold, they'll be racing to buy Bitcoin? Not retail, not hedge funds, nations. And this isn't a theory from a YouTuber. This is coming from Dan Morehead, founder of Pantera Capital, one of the earliest institutional Bitcoin investors in the world. And today, 3 major events just happened in Washington that directly affect you as a crypto investor, including a massive update on the biggest crypto law in U.S. history. Watch this entire video, because by the end, you'll understand why some of the smartest money in the world believes Bitcoin is not near a peak. Bitcoin is flashing a bottom. Dan Morehead says we're witnessing a once-in-a-generation macro shift, not in crypto, in money itself. For decades, the Federal Reserve was independent. Congress at least pretended to care about balanced budgets. Today, both parties, most countries, all printing. And here's the key idea. It's not that Bitcoin, gold, real estate, or stocks are at record highs. It's that paper money is at record lows. The dollar is losing about 3% of its value every year. Over your lifetime, that's a 90% loss of purchasing power. And somehow, that's called stable money. So what's rational? Owning something with a fixed supply, gold or Bitcoin. But here's where it gets interesting. Gold versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin is more divisible, more portable, more verifiable, and mathematically scarce, not we think it's scarce. And Dan says something bold. In 10 years, Bitcoin will have massively outperformed gold. Not maybe, obviously. And the data is starting to back this up. The gold to Bitcoin ratio is at historic extremes. Bitcoin's valuation versus gold on RSI is at the lowest ever recorded. That's not a top signal, that's a bottom signal. But there's something even bigger. There's the 4-year Bitcoin cycle, but there's also the business cycle, measured by something called the ISM index. And here's the crazy stat. In 100 years of data, ISM has never been below 50 for this long, 36 months. And historically, Bitcoin has never peaked unless ISM peaks first, meaning if history holds, this cannot be a cycle top. It's structurally a cycle bottom. And right as this is happening, something wild happened in Congress. During a heated exchange, the Treasury Secretary was asked if he could order banks to buy Bitcoin or invest taxpayer money into crypto. He said no, but then admitted something most people missed. The U.S. government is holding seized Bitcoin. They didn't buy it, they just didn't sell it. And that Bitcoin went from 500 million to over $15 billion, a 30x. Just by holding. The U.S. accidentally created one of the best-performing reserves in history by doing nothing. And while this is happening, the biggest crypto law ever is moving again. The Clarity Act, the long-awaited crypto market structure bill, is alive again. Closed-door Senate meetings, negotiations happening now, real momentum before midterms. Insiders believe we could see a market structure bill before Memorial Day. This matters because once this passes, banks, institutions, and funds finally get legal clarity to enter crypto at scale. But Dan Morehead thinks something even bigger is coming. Here's his out-of-consensus prediction. Within 2 to 3 years, there will be a global arms race for Bitcoin. The U.S. is building a strategic reserve. The UAE is accumulating. But the real trigger is countries that don't trust the U.S. Why would a nation like China store centuries of savings in U.S. assets that the U.S. Treasury can freeze or cancel? Bitcoin can't be sanctioned. Bitcoin can't be frozen. Bitcoin can't be printed. So what happens? 3 or 4 global power blocks each trying to acquire 1 million Bitcoin. And you just want to own some before that starts. If this video helped you connect the dots between macro, politics, and Bitcoin's cycle, do me a quick favor. Hit subscribe. It's completely free. You can always unsubscribe later. But every single day, I break down what's happening in this market so you don't miss the signals most people only understand after the move has happened. Our goal is 2 million this year, and I'd love for you to be part of this community.